Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome back to the FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship in 2022. So we're now in the second day of this beautiful chess event and we're starting now this beautiful day with a great tactical battle between Daniil Dubov and Michal Sarin. We have to say Daniil Dubov was once a winner of the FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship. He's one of the most dynamic players for sure in the world, and he has also a great result so far in this chess event. He has 4.5 points out of the first 6 rounds. So with a win against Michal Sarin, he could reach really the top of this super event, and he could force maybe a direct game against the leader, against Magnus Carlsen for the throne. So it's now a very, very critical moment of this super event. So let's see now the game, what happened. Daniil Dubov with the white pieces against Michal Sarin here with the black pieces. So Daniil opened with the move d4. We have now the move d5 by Michal. We have c4, the queen's gambit. After move d takes c4, we have the queen's gambit accepted. So now comes the move knight to f3, and this move knight to f3 prevents this move e5 that could happen many times. Here black is searching for opportunities to break and enter with the move e5. In the continuation, we have now knight to f6 by Michal Sarin, and now after move e3, e6, bishop to c4, Daniil Dubov gets his pawn back. So now Michal breaks the position with the move c5, which is the clear idea. If you play d takes c5, then of course the queens could be off the board. So that's why white is searching for different opportunities. White is simply keeping the tension in the center of the board. So kingside castling, we have now the move a6, and that's the main idea of the queen's gambit accepted. You see, you decoy the bishop to c4, and then you're preparing a pawn storm with a6, b5, and then also in some occasions you could push through with the move c4. So here the continuation after move a6, we have now the move queen to e2, b5 comes anyway, and now after move bishop to d3, now comes we have here a very important move, c takes d4, because a common mistake that you can make in this particular line is the move bishop to b7. Don't do that if you're playing now here the game from black's perspective, because you could reach this position, d takes c5 followed with bishop to c5 leads into a tactical disaster, because after bishop to b5 you lose a pawn, a takes b5, and now you get a double attack against both of these bishops, and it's, I think, a really much better game here for white. White has now 2 extra pawns, and this should be game over here for black. So after move bishop to d3 here, that's why c takes d4 was played by Michal Sarin, but now Daniil Dubov plays really a beautiful dynamic line. It's sort of a gambit line. He plays now a very aggressive a4, because the idea is clear about, I think, about this move a4. You're leaving simply also the tension here in the center of the board. If something like d takes e3 happens, then of course bishop to e3 comes with the tempo. Look at this, both bishops are very dynamic. We have already secured the king by castling. Our knight is powerful. The rook is going to come into the game. We have here a beautiful tension around the square b5. So in order to keep the position locked somehow, black needs now to play the move b4, but now I think with rook to d1, look at this, we can already play a very aggressive method against the queen. For instance, the queen could make a mistake here and move to a5, then we have ideas of knight to d4, knight to d2, knight to c4 here, hitting the queen. So the activity that you gain for this lost pawn, I think, is really, really great. So that's why here, very aggressive method by Daniil Dubov. He's already spicing up the game. So here, Michal Sarin plays b takes a4. We have now rook takes a4, bishop to e7. Michal has to now secure the king by castling. He's sensing that something went wrong here in this opening line. White has a much, much better activity, and of course Daniil Dubov takes again this pawn on d4, hits simply the king and queen, and the queen has to now escape with queen to b6. So now knight to d2, again with the idea to get an extra tempo against the queen with the move knight to c4. We have now knight to c6, rook to h4. Look how this rook is shifting all over the board, targeting the h7, and Michal has really now a tough time where to secure the king by castling, because here it's already a powerful activity. The rook is there, the bishop is very active, knight on f3 good, knight to c4 is going to come, e4, e5 is also an opportunity in the continuation of the game. The bishop could come here, so I was really not left to play now anymore this game from black's perspective. So bishop to b7, knight to c4, hitting the queen, queen to c7, bishop to d2, preparing now the move bishop to c3. A really, really nice maneuver here by the bishop. The bishop gets, of course, towards the king side, and now finally kingside castling here by nimzo-larsen. But now Daniil Dubov plays aggressively here with the move bishop to c3, and he's targeting now really the king. This is a really, really beautiful and brutal attacking formation. So now comes maybe the first tiny little inaccuracy here by nimzo-larsen. He plays the move g6, and the better way is actually here to play the move h6, because the rook is actually hitting the pawn on h7. Now at least you are not allowing this scenario. You're playing the move h6, although this move is also weakening your pawn structure, but I think this was the way to go. This is at least somehow protecting the king. In the continuation, you see after move g6, okay, you're also protecting somehow this diagonal. You're protecting your h7 score, but you're opening simply too much this diagonal here for the dark square bishop, and from this point on actually basically black is getting in huge tactical problems. So here in the continuation, Daniil Dubov hits immediately the h7 pawn with a direct method with bishop to f6, and then followed with maybe knight to h7 or rook to h7. And now comes the critical moment of the game. Here nimzo-larsen plays a bad move, a huge blunder. He plays now the move knight to d5, and maybe you can pause the video and try to see now the best continuation here for white, which of course Daniil Dubov saw immediately. He played the move immediately, and after that move nimzo-larsen resigned. So pause the video and try to see here the best continuation. So it's really beautiful tactic. So okay, here in this particular position, Daniil plays a beautiful queen to h5, and black has to resign. Really great stuff. Really beautiful tactical shot, because if you play g takes h5, of course you get bishop to h7, a beautiful checkmate with both of these bishops. If you don't react, if you get the bishop knight back in order to defend the h7, bishop to f6 is still working with the same tactical shot. You just can prolong the game, and the game is still over. So really beautiful game by Daniil Dubov. He, I think, tricked here a little bit nimzo-larsen with his aggressive alliance, with his aggressive methods, with this tiny little threats against the queen. He improved simply his position of his minor pieces, and then when he got a beautiful attacking formation, you see how devastating this position was. nimzo-larsen didn't react correctly and got destroyed by this beautiful queen to h5 move, in which nimzo-larsen, as we said, resigned. So great game. With this win, Daniil Dubov has now 5.5 points out of this first 7 rounds, which is a great thing. Magnus Carlsen has I think 6 points, so he's only half of the point behind Magnus Carlsen. He's probably now playing against Magnus Carlsen the next round. We will see. Maybe Daniil Dubov can make something also in this super event. Be prepared. This will be still a dynamic chess event for us to watch. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot, because I meet many times this Queen's Gambit accept line. I think this was also quite an instructive game. If you want to see more games that we have covered from this event, check out our coverage so far. Here's the link of some games that we have analyzed before, and if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.